Grigor Dimitrov turned pro in 2008 and made his first appearance in the top 10 in the rankings in July of 2014. He was referred to as Baby Fed because parts of his game were similar to Roger Federer. Dimitrov peaked in 2017 with a career-high ranking of number 3 in the world after winning the World Tour Finals, but was unable to sustain that success. So after 5 years, we see Dimitrov nearly back to the top 10 in the world. The question becomes, what are the biggest reasons behind that, and can he sustain a run inside the top 10 for the next couple of years? Hey guys, it's Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net, and in this episode of the Breaking Point, I'm going to look at the top 3 reasons why Grigor Dimitrov is ready to get back into the top 10 in the world in the ATP Tour rankings in 2024. All right, so let's start with number 3. We've looked at this week in Paris, and we can see that Dimitrov has some results against players this week that he hasn't had in recent times. He beat Daniil Medvedev this week, who his career record against is 3-6 all-time, and he also beat Stefanos Tsitsipas, who is coming into this event with a 2-6 head-to-head record. And one of the biggest things that Grigor has changed in his game, right, is his ability to now play more tactically sound tennis in his later years. When he was younger, a lot of his game really centered around being flashy and using a lot of athleticism to win matches. Now what we see, especially in this match against Medvedev, is the stat that was really interesting after the match. He only hit 62% of his shots with topspin in this match and hit 38% of his shots with a slice, and a lot of those were backhands hitting slices to Medvedev. And the reason that's so tactically smart, right, is Medvedev is a very tall player at 6'6". So making him peel up those slices and hit up on the ball means that Medvedev can't get as aggressive as he wants to get on those shots. He hits a much flatter ball than most players do, so he doesn't have as much margin. And on top of that, when Dimitrov is hitting those low slices, Medvedev has to really peel up on them and try to hit them and lift them over the net, which gives Grigor a chance to step around and attack with his forehand. And not only did he do this against Medvedev here in Paris, but he also did a really good job of using a slice tactic against Carlos Alcarez in his first ever win against him in Shanghai in the fall. He came in against Alcarez with a lifetime record of 0-3, but again, used the slice quite a bit, not because Alcarez is a tall player, but used it as a mix-up, used it to take away angles when playing defense, and then also used it again to try to get Alcarez to hit up on the ball so Dimitrov could step in and get aggressive with his forehand. If you look at the percentages of slices that Dimitrov hit against Alcarez in that match, right, 77% topspin and 23% slice. So a very concerted effort by Grigor tactically to use the slice, again, to get the ball low against players, to make them provide the pace, but also to make sure that he's taking some angles away from players when he's in defensive situations on that backhand side. So let's look at reason number 2, that Dimitrov is poised to make a run at the top 10 in 2024. And that reason is because he's hitting a lot of MPH with a lot of topspin on his forehand side, right? Against Alcarez in that match in Shanghai, again, getting his first ever win against Alcarez. He was at 128 kilometers an hour average on his forehand speed. That's 79.5 miles an hour. That's a lot of pace on the forehand side, and Grigor doesn't usually go that big on his forehand side, but he's shown the ability to really open up the forehand and hit some really big shots with the forehand, and he's really increased his forehand speed, and that was another thing that really allowed him to step up and beat Alcarez in that match. The ATP Tour likes to keep shot quality metrics for serve, return to serve, forehands, and backhands, and Grigor has consistently been above the tour average on his forehand side, especially in this fall in his recent run of success. So we know Dimitrov is playing tactically smarter with his slice, right, and especially on his backhand side. We know that he's hitting his forehand bigger, but what's the number one reason why Grigor is set to make a run for the top 10 in 2024? The number one reason why he's going to make a run in 2024 at the top 10 is that serve, and that first serve in particular. His average shot quality on the serve has been, again, above the tour average in the latter half of 2023. So we're looking at 8.2 in his win against Tsitsipas in Paris, and then also against Medvedev, he was consistently better than Medvedev on the serve. 8.6 for that serve quality versus Medvedev's 7.5. So Dimitrov's playing tactically smarter. He's hitting his forehand much bigger while maintaining spin on that side. And he's also serving at a really high rate, especially the quality of that first serve. That's getting him more free points and more looks at first ball forehands in the point. And one just bonus kind of category area I wanted to throw in was a stat that's been mentioned in Paris this week. It's that when Dimitrov is hitting a topspin backhand, his average miles per hour is the highest on tour this year. So he's hitting a lot of slices to mix it up and to give his opponents limited angles when attacking. But when he's hitting topspin on that side and he's really driving the ball, his average miles per hour is higher than anybody else on tour, and that's a major weapon to have at your disposal. So putting all of these things together and really seeing how Grigor's been playing this fall, he's definitely poised to make a run at the top 10 in the rankings in 2024. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this content and found it helpful in any way, make sure you support the channel by hitting that like and subscribe button. Also drop comments and questions below to keep the discussion going. I'm Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net. That wraps it up for this episode of The Breaking Point. I'll see you next time.